You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Teen Mom 2 After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Teen Mom 2 After Show.
Hello, everybody. Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another episode of Teen Mom. Okay, so we're going to double up. Last week, as you guys know, we weren't here. Big old accident on the 405 caused everybody to miss it. And so we couldn't actually get here. That's what I'm going with. Anyway, Season 4, Episode 10 and 11, Change the Plans and For the Best. I'm your host, Ed Bowling. To my right is...
I'm Annie Demyan. Hi, guys.
And?
I'm Crystal Ackley.
Oh, Isabel Mora.
Isabel Mora. Don't forget talking to the mic, Isabel. I want to be able to... Everybody wants to hear what you have to say. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to... we got a lot to talk about in a short amount of time. A lot of good stuff to talk about. I am going to do things a little differently. I'm going to be actually looking at my notes from last episode because the one I just watched is so fresh in my mind, but I want to make sure I not miss the good stuff. Let's start with Maci. Okay, so last week, Maci was talking with, in the beginning, Maci was talking with her friend and saying basically she's not going to try to see Bentley on his birthday because it'd be too difficult. And she was saying that she was concerned about Dallas seeing her as Ryan's ex-girlfriend instead of Bentley's mom. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Jump in anytime. You know, important stuff you want to talk about. But then, remember, Maci tweeted something like, it would be better for Bentley if me and Ryan were still together.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that?
I didn't like that she did that.
What do you... Okay, was it innocent or was it not innocent?
I think it was innocent, but she should have thought about the way in which she typed it and what it said specifically, because she has to know how many people watch a show and how many people are going to take it and run with it. So.
And, I mean, she's got to get over it. Like, they've been apart for so long. Like, yeah, it would have been easier to say that maybe, like, a few months after. But, I mean, you're both dating other people. Like, why even bring that up, I think?
Right, like, there was no special event for her to mention this. No specific event. No one interviewing her, no one asking her, do you think it would be different if you guys were together?
That's true.
Right.
I think what happened was this happened in the days approaching his birthday. And Maci is clearly, a responsible person, a planner.
Right.
So I think that she was thinking about it. She was thinking about the birthday coming up.
Oh, and how it would be easier for the birthday to be joint.
Probably was frustrated, thinking, God, I don't want to even have this conversation with Ryan, and so then she's like, yeah, it's so much better if we were just together.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I definitely think, and I'm kind of glad that we're doing 2 episodes together for this one. I actually think that this is sort of, it all ties together with, she is still, not that she wants Ryan back, but there's still something that is there. Something that bothers her about Ryan being with another girl, about, all this stuff. And I think that she finds ways to try to say something that's totally okay to say, by, if you look at it, but she knows that it's going to cause drama.
Yeah.
My feeling is that,
You really think she knows it's going to cause drama?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't, even when they were going through the breakup and before there was somebody else involved, Maci was never the type of girl to do things to get him upset.
But she may not have been, and I agree with that. But I think now things are a little different, and maybe that's not so much a stab, that thing, at Ryan as so much as it was to Dallas.
I
I don't know. I mean, we don't hear her say anything badly about Dallas. So I think as a mom, I don't know personally, but I can only imagine how, regardless of the situation between you and your child's father, you're always going to have a certain amount of love there.
Yes.
So I think that that's fine, and especially at a young age to go through everything that they are. I think it's fair for her to feel the way that she does. I don't think that she wants to be with Ryan.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, no, not that she wants to be with him, but there's something there. There's something that's not. It's not overt. It's hidden.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think if you want to pinpoint on something, Ryan was an asshole. He was always to her. So to see him be in a relationship that's lasting longer than a month. Yeah. Because I think Dallas is the longest. Yeah. I mean, it may trigger something like, well, what does she have different that he's actually being nice to? And
what did I do wrong?
Right. Yeah. But I don't think there's ever any malicious way of her getting Dallas upset or getting ever.
Ooh, well, we disagree on that. Then we disagree on that. Okay. And so then we've got Maci and Ryan arguing in front of Bentley, which we're going to see again later. But and then at the exchange, right? And Maci asking Ryan for an apology for his response to her through the text.
I think she deserved it.
Yes.
That one I agree.
Yeah.
I think Ryan was totally wrong for his horrible text to her. I mean, it was horrible.
And let's not forget that not only was the text horrible, but he said, "I hate you," which is so childish.
Yeah, he always
does, though. He does.
He needs to, and I don't understand why he doesn't think about. Obviously, she's going to read the text aloud, so he has to know that everything he says when the cameras are rolling is going to be aired to everyone. So.
Yeah. And then later in that episode, we saw Ryan talking with his parents about Maci and the whole situation. Of course, his mom still always just totally one-sided.
Yeah.
Right.
But his dad starts coming through still with that sort of fair look at it, like, hey, dude, look, you might be mad and all this stuff, but you gotta, no matter what happens, she's there.
Yeah.
You guys got to figure this out long term.
Yeah.
So it's better to just, figure
deal
it
with
out.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Be civil.
So moving on to this next episode. Today's episode or last night or Tuesday night's episode started with Kyle and Maci talking about what they're gonna do for the birthday. Okay, now Kyle, amazing, totally mature about attitude towards the birthday. He says it as much as we can't understand what he says, and they have to subtitle it. They didn't subtitle him this time, but he said the most amazing stuff. He's like, listen, Bentley wants to have all of his people there.
Right.
And so, it's not about us. Even if it's horribly uncomfortable, Bentley would want us all together.
Yeah.
But then he says the dumbest thing I ever heard was like, when Bentley comes home, let's ask him.
A 2-year-old.
I'm going, how did you just ruin that whole thing?
As a family's going to be like, no, I don't want my dad there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so let's just assume that Bentley's going to say yes. How are you going to make that happen, dude? Why would you ask Bentley? That's where their judgment was off.
That was totally out of line and wrong because she should have talked to him first. She should have at least brought it up like, hey, I think he'd want you there, and do you think you'd want to come? She didn't even say, hello, here's Bentley, he wants to talk to you. She's like, he's on the phone.
Because she's afraid of him.
Yeah.
I think it came with good intentions, but she's forgetting that the relationship between her and Ryan is not picture perfect. It's not perfect at all. So she needs to take that into consideration.
Why would you want to confuse kids like that? Grown up kids in high school, kids in junior high, we are apart. It's a different family. When are we gonna get together and say this is for old times when Daddy and I were fucking?
Oh my God.
That's pretty much it.
Well, okay.
No, that is. I would never. I don't care how civil we are. We don't need to get together.
Yeah, and they already decided they were going to each have their own day.
And they had that talk.
Okay, now here's what I'm saying. This was, Kyle said the silly thing about ask Ryan.
Right.
But Maci's the one that said, you know what, I'm going to have him call him.
Yeah.
And, of course, now, they're not going to say no.
Right. And you still see Bentley like, okay. She's like, oh, do you want to call him?
Yeah, she completely orchestrated the whole thing.
Told him exactly what to say.
Word to word what to say. Told him word to word what to say. So here's where I think whatever it is, not I want to be back with Ryan, but I want to like get in there and jab, and it's not. Don't you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but maybe there was also, I always think about what we don't see on the camera, and maybe she thought, she knew that if she had asked Ryan, he would say no, but maybe in all honesty, I know I have 2 separate families, and I don't disagree with her wanting all the family together for
that's
Bentley.
Okay. Right. That's okay.
But maybe she thought that if Bentley had asked, he would be more willing to go. So maybe she did it in that way, and we just didn't see that happen because obviously I don't agree with letting a 2-year-old decide. Like,
Exactly.
And calling the grandparents.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, they're not going to say no.
It was just doomed from the beginning. It was just doomed from the beginning. You know, I just knew it was going to be bad.
And then they get into the fight. Can we talk about really quick how after they have that fight outside of the car, and he calls her, she's so stupid, whatever.
Yes.
And then she's like, I'm done talking to you. And then Dallas goes, good.
I heard that, and I wondered.
Really?
Okay, well, hold on. We do need to wrap up Maci, but hold on, that's a little bit too. Okay, so yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
No, that's okay.
That part was sticking out in my
totally
mind.
fine. It's totally fine. It was a horrible idea. Oh, hell to the no. So Ryan calls back, and it's just, to me, it's such a setup. She puts him on the phone with Bentley, and then. To me, she doesn't even really listen. She hears any slight little. If she doesn't hear no, she's gonna say, "Hey, Daddy's coming," which is what she did.
Yeah.
Okay, set him up for that.
Because he did say, "I'll see what I can do."
I'll see what I can do for you. That's
what
it.
he said.
And then since the Ryan wasn't coming, the grandparents didn't come. I'm like,
still come.
I mentioned that to you before. Those parents, well, that mom.
I'm surprised.
So easy.
Yes.
And there's times where Ryan's actually calm about things, and she adds to it. But are you sure you don't want 50%? Because, she's doing all. She always adds to it.
Exactly.
It's like she has this anger towards Maci.
She antagonizes the situation from what we see. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why, and that one, I was surprised that the dad didn't come through and overrule the mom. Because, I got to assume it was the mom.
Yeah.
And say, look, go anyway, because this is for Bentley. He should have led by example in that case.
Yeah. Yeah, especially since they're always the ones trying to say you should be civil, try and work it out, like you're going to be together for the next 18 years.
Yes. Especially the dad.
They get along with her. They could have gone.
Right. And so then, when did Ryan, mom and dad, when they talked? Well, Bentley, the drop-off, it was so bad. Maci was actually lying, about what happened. Ryan was correct for one time. Once, Ryan was right. He's like, you know what? You didn't put the idea in his head. You didn't tell him what to say. Come on, Maci. Come on.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, he said, I want my daddy. And he said, I want to call and all this stuff. And I was just thinking, you know what? Yeah, that's, to me, those things made me think that Maci had this ulterior motive. That's just, what I think. But yeah, he was wrong again for going to the name calling her stupid.
Yeah, that's where everything dies. It's like when Ryan's finally about to do something where we're all on his side, he comes and ruins it with the name calling.
I was behind him, standing on what he believed until, you know what? It's just like, if you're going to say you're so stupid, you don't do it. Bentley could hear.
Yeah, the door was open.
And Maci tried to close it. And
tried to close it to shut out Dallas and Bentley, which she should.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Dallas had something to say after, and it's like, please.
Yeah,
you got
she
no place to
shouldn't have said anything.
Okay. So we're going to move on to Farrah. Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God.
Okay, now wait a minute.
Desperate.
My partner over here, Chris, told me I had 10 minutes per girl.
Yeah,
Marissa
you went
movies.
Over 2 minutes and 40.
But wait a minute. But then you held up a thing that said 25 minutes left. What is that? You know what?
Exactly.
We're getting
we can rush through Catelynn and Tyler.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not that exciting.
Okay.
That's true. We can. Even though she wants to spend a lot of time with Tyler over there, Isabel.
I love him.
Okay. Okay, so
cute.
Farrah.
Oh my gosh.
It's quite the couple of weeks for her.
First of all, we were all wondering, Kate, they're going to Austin to Daniel's family.
Right.
How long? It's TV time.
Yeah.
How long? Well, they tell us in the episode it's been a month.
Yeah. And a half.
A month and a half.
Sorry.
2 weeks.
I forgot. And tons can happen.
Apparently.
Right.
Remember when they were at dinner and she asked that lady how old she was, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna be a lone bird." I was like, "How rude are you?"
She meets Daniel's mom and dad.
I think it was her stepmom.
It's his stepmom. Yes. The older dad had a nice younger mom. A nice younger,
Yeah.
And they, he had kids, but she didn't have any yet.
Yeah.
And Farrah breaks every rule in the book talking to her. Right? I mean, she was like, how old are you? And then she told him, she goes, and you haven't had any kids yet? Oh, you're going to be a lone bird.
And not only did she say that.
It's not happening. Yeah. Guess it's not happening.
And she laughed when she said it, which is even more of an insult.
Yeah, that was so mean.
I mean, it's like she has some kind of social disease or something. Like,
but she does.
Yeah, well, you know, maybe she does.
This
which
is
we can't
blame that is alone. She has no friends. She has no one but Sophia and mom.
Yeah.
And this is the one time I wanted the mom, you know, for all the seasons that she's always on her, to say, you're going where? You've known this guy for how long?
Yeah.
I mean, and for once, the mom must be so medicated. She's like, okay, I'll stay here.
Yeah. I think she was just excited to get Sophia.
She's like,
otherwise, should have been like, what?
Yeah, anything that's going to give me Sophia. Oh, yeah, go have a good time. Stay for 2 months.
Get pregnant again.
Yeah, bring me another granddaughter. Maybe let me keep that one.
Which we heard that she's totally open to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, you know what? I guess can anybody play the devil's advocate for, you know, in favor of Farrah? I mean, do we chalk it up to? Okay, I'll do that. So maybe she was just really nervous.
Maybe. I was trying to think about what her rush was this entire time, with relationship, with love, with another child and family. Maybe she's just trying to make up for lost time that she feels. I don't know. We see her and how she's grown up so fast.
Yeah.
So maybe she feels like she needs to make up for certain years and fill a void that is there because of everything that she's gone through.
Because she says she grew, like, she's like basically like a 30-year-old because she's got a kid, so she's not gonna mess around. She's trying to find the one.
I agree with that.
But still.
But you shouldn't tell him that in the first 6 weeks. That's just like a red flag.
Yeah, then maybe date Ed. He's 40 and he's ready to settle. Don't try to date 20-year-olds that are just starting.
Yeah. Who's been dating you for 6 years?
It doesn't matter who the dude is. Any dude's going to be scared by what
that. Yeah. Even if they were dating a year.
Look, she went shopping, held up a dress and said, if we ever get married, can I wear this?
Okay,
then about the ring.
Okay, then she said, I want my engagement ring from a thrift store.
And then she buys one.
This one.
And she said, you know what? I'm just going to propose to myself.
I would be like, you're crazy.
And she said, hold my dress, Daniel. Oh, and I think that might be my wedding dress right there.
He almost looked like he was sweating at points.
He kept going like this when they did that ride in the paddle thing.
And all of it at the dinner, at the thrift shop. He was a little more like bold at thrift shop. He's like, so you're happy about you being engaged to yourself, huh? You're all by yourself on that. And she's like, yeah, I'm engaged to myself.
Like, let's make it clear.
Yeah.
But that paddle boat thing, I mean, it was already downhill because of that situation that happened with his parents.
Yeah.
He was already wondering, what the hell did I bring home?
Yeah.
Because why doesn't this girl know not to say what she said? It just, you know, everybody was uncomfortable. Except her. I mean, like, does anybody even talk to her about it after?
I do, and getting back to defending Farrah, I do understand wanting to put yourself out there for what you're looking for in a relationship from the very beginning. But there is a way to do that, and there is a way to not do that.
Okay.
She doesn't know
Can it be done in the first, like, month and a half?
Well, I'm just saying, if you have a child and you're a single mom and you're dating, you are allowed to say, I think that you're allowed to say, I'm obviously interested in more than just a fling. But to go as far as to say, I need more of a commitment, I'm looking for more kids, I'm looking for marriage, that's too much.
And we again, like Chris will say, we don't know behind the scenes. Have they slept together already? Have they taken that step?
We think they did.
Me and you think they did. Moment together.
But before the trip. So maybe is she feeling a little insecure over that? I mean, we don't know if she was promiscuous before and now she is or she isn't. We know nothing of that.
That's true. There's a lot of stuff we don't know, but we do know that she wants to have 3 kids by 23.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Oh, and they also show Sophia being.
How about walking up to the paddle boat and say, "Oh, I'm gonna do this every day when I live in Texas." Like, you're moving to Texas now. Yeah, I mean, it was like everything she said was like, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, and I'm like, are you? Yeah, she's doing what she did. She's trying to force the guy into say yes or no. Tell me yes or no. Tell me yes or no. You should know in 2 months if you want to marry somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just saying, I want to be engaged. And,
Hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you're like 22.
Yeah.
21.
And remember, she pushes him so hard, and then he's like, that's when he's grabbing his collar and like the life jacket.
She's like, is that too tight?
Yeah, are you suffocating or is it your life jacket?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe that stuff. Well, anyway, she she goes back to the hotel. And I am going to force Marissa Movies to give me time for news and gossip because I got Daniel's side of the story.
I saw that.
Okay, I've got that. So she goes back to the hotel. When she's talking to her mom, it looks like she's been crying to me. That's what I saw. You know, red face and no makeup and all that. And she says, I'm just not going to talk to Daniel anymore because he's a jerk.
Yeah.
And he left. Okay, so we'll finish the Farrah right there, and we're back on the 10-minute track. And now we're gonna. Ooh, this is gonna be quick.
We do need to mention though that in this week's episode, Sophia is gone.
Yeah.
And she had a hard time with that from what we saw. And that was pretty much it for this episode. It was a very dull episode for her.
That's true. I forgot. Farrah tells her mom about what happened with Daniel, and that was the whole blind leading the blind thing. Like her mom was like, "No, those are bad signs. Oh my God, he did that." I'm like, dude, you are not getting the whole story. You are getting Farrah's version.
Her mom believed her.
Yeah.
Like, don't you know your own
Maybe she just didn't want to fight with her.
Yeah, her mom was.
That's another thing we should mention. These 2 past episodes, it's been a perfect relationship between Farrah and mom. There was times where I was like, here it comes, because we're so used to Farrah just exploding. Yeah. And it was just like,
no. Her mom, she's high on Sophia. She got Sophia.
Yeah. Well, the mom's not the one that causes the problems. It's Farrah that yells and screams.
She knows how to.
For the first time, she didn't say anything to mom. She wasn't rude to her mom.
Agreed.
I was very surprised.
Agreed. Okay, and now Farrah's alone. No Daniel. I was thinking, look, if you had messed it up with him, you at least have a boyfriend to go back to.
Well,
that's not what you said. Can you say what you said?
I am not going to say what I said. Anyway. Okay. What's your well?
I was just going to say, and it's part of news, but she does have a boyfriend now.
Oh, we didn't know about that.
You called it though. We've spoken about it in a past review. It's the guy that she met while doing the Ryan Seacrest interview.
That's right.
So she's still dating him as of this past week.
I forgot that.
Wait, the one that bought her flowers. She went to dinner with that night.
The night she left after she came with us to the show.
She told us
that's the guy she's seeing.
Yep.
Okay. Let's move on.
Crazy.
Let's do a short Catelynn, and because if it wasn't Catelynn and Tyler and it was like Butch and April and then it'd be like a whole show. It'd be like a whole
mullets.
show. Oh man, you know what? He gets. Did you see he put his mullet in a ponytail?
That's a
it's a rat's tail.
A mole rat.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
It's pretty horrible.
I'm making it up, but it sounds about right.
Okay, so let's go right here to Tyler and Catelynn. Oh God, it was so.
This is like about their moms.
No, remember about about like I'm not going to go to college because because I don't want to ruin my chances if I take the wrong
classes.
degree.
You can take core classes in the beginning.
Generals are not going to change.
English, math.
Mr. Smartasses.
They obviously don't know that.
Yeah.
So
they're like, we don't want to waste any class.
Yeah. And maybe their main focus is the money. I keep trying to look for the better in all of these guys, but I wish I had gone to a different school because it was so expensive.
And why don't you find out really quickly? Like, it's probably not that difficult to do some research online and find out what degree you need to do that.
Well, yeah, and there's
like in a day you could find that out.
Yeah.
But there's paranoia. Like Catelynn is like got this idea. She goes, but if you talk to the people at the school that you're talking about going to, they're just going to tell you whatever you want to hear to force you to go there. I'm like, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty great, I think.
And then Dawn said that 80% of kids who don't go back don't ever go back.
That they
So I don't know if they're both going to go back.
And did anybody else see how stressed out Tyler was? So stressed about this whole thing about Catelynn not knowing what she wants to do, about him being confused.
He was just on the camera with a hat over his face.
He was like physically anxious, and he was growling, and so he was going and he was like this. He was just physically stressed out.
Yeah.
He was really not enjoying it. And he was saying, I hate being out of school.
It was nice.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was nice to see his mom so involved in trying to push them to get back into school. It was good to see her.
Except for the fact that she came and brought the whole, I talked about 3 different people, and I got different stories from all of them.
Yes.
I mean, she said that too. She's great. But that one, I was like, man, they didn't need to hear that, dude.
Making it worse,
Well, no, I think they did. I think she was adding to, I understand why you guys are worried, and this is why I'm going to bring the people I talk to and see if that helps.
Then she did a great thing, which is bring them together.
Too, and so I think that's a great bond. But can we mention how great Catelynn has looked in this past 2 episodes?
Have you seen her recently?
She lost a lot of weight.
She looks phenomenal, and her hair. She put extensions in, so she has long hair now.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
And she looks happier. She does. Like she's getting to where she wanted to be.
Which is so nice to see.
Something is better.
For the both of them.
So now, this episode, we can go through it real quick and just say that, you know what, Tyler's mom is stressed out because she's disappointed. She's pissed, actually, that she can't just call Carly whenever she wants to. And, she approaches it all really healthy. You know, Tyler obviously gets all of his good common sense from his mom.
Yeah.
They talk. Tyler says, let's talk to Dawn.
Not from Butch. Sorry, I had to say it.
No, that's okay. And, you know, and so they end up, April's talking, and Tyler's mom.
She's doing really good, too.
They all talk. She's 60 days sober.
I'm proud of her.
She's trying to make amends and apologize. So, you know what?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to her.
Good job.
It's never too late.
It's good for them, but a boring part of the show. Yeah, good is boring.
No domestic violence. What the hell? I'm just kidding.
Okay, good.
That's wrong.
Okay, we're going to talk about Amber, and then we're doing news. We're doing news, Marissa Movies.
Okay, there
goes 2 Amber.
Right there.
I have 2 full pages for Amber because
she's crazy.
Okay, so
whoa.
But her experience got to be one of the worst, especially the off-camera stuff. Random vandalism on her house caused Child Protective Services to say, you cannot have your daughter overnight. That is so serious. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
But Amber and Gary, I'm like, you know what? I don't know why you guys would ever think that it's okay for you to do anything together because you can't even talk on the phone.
No, they can't.
Yeah.
Right.
Every single
they can't even say hi on the phone without he called her a water buffalo on the phone.
Oh yeah, you sound like a water buffalo.
You sound like a water buffalo, and of oh my goodness.
Okay, the other factor. The other factors that we've got going here is that Amber is looking so drugged all the time.
Again.
Yeah.
All the eyes barely even open.
She talks
right?
so
those
slow.
are her eyelashes.
Okay.
And her like black eyeshadow.
They're like glued to her eyeballs.
Yes.
They're glued to the eyelids.
Now, the last episode, we had that, you know, it was just a bad situation, and I think Amber was mostly responsible, where she called and said, can I come see Leah today? Right? I think it sucks that Gary said no, and his reason was because I'm trying to get my shit together. Like, what do you mean, dude?
He has nothing to do.
Yeah, he's getting his new house and he wants to clean up. Like, no,
well,
you know.
He needs somebody to help him pick up the stuff that falls on the floor.
Because he can't.
Oh, because he can't bend over.
I was going to say, this was crazy. I don't think it was in the last episode, but it's like a cycle because did you hear her when she was saying that, talking to her psychiatrist or whatever, about how her parents just fought all the time and that her brother used to come in her room and her brother was like, please stop fighting, and that her dad said fuck you to the little boy.
Oh no.
So that's that happened. She told that in therapy and I was like, no wonder you're crazy. Yeah. Like she had a messed up childhood.
Oh, when he took her back in hypnosis or whatever, right? You talking about that one?
Where
she could see and she said, what is the dad saying? What's the guy saying?
Yeah.
And then yes, you're right.
Because they fight in front of their daughter and it's just like a cycle. I feel so bad.
Okay, it's bad because the next day she makes a horrible decision. Because Gary already said you can have her tomorrow, and I think she said okay to that, right?
She did, yeah.
And so then all of a sudden she says, oh, and I can't take Leah today. She's on the camera because I got to go look at this one house.
Yeah.
And she says one house, but then when she gets on the phone to Gary, she says, I'm going to look at houses today, so I can't take her today.
Yeah.
And he's pissed off. Rightfully so.
Completely.
Yeah. I feel like she could have took her with
your daughter with
you. Yeah.
He shouldn't have attacked her the way he did.
Yeah.
Because she's on the edge.
She kept being like, I effing wanted her yesterday.
Which just makes me think again she's bipolar because why she did want her yesterday, but then she said okay, that's fine, I'll take her tomorrow, and she completely disregarded the fact that she agreed to having her that day, and of course blamed it on Gary.
Yeah,
so
and he had really short answers that were like cold. He didn't call names, but he wasn't mean, but he was cold. But then she of course said, you know what, you bastard, and you know she went off.
They're just toxic together.
Okay, and was anybody else scared when she got in the car and was driving?
Yes. Okay, but you want to know what and this will skip forward to this week's episode.
Okay.
But we know now that she can't afford Leah's preschool because it was so expensive.
Right.
She has no money.
$800 a month.
She gets in this car and I'm like, honey, trade it in.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll have some more money.
You're driving a brand new car.
Yeah, and we know that she made $240,000 in that
she
1 year.
She can afford $400.
They get paid after. They get paid after the show is over.
Whatever.
I'm sure her rent is so cheap. Like, they live in Indiana.
Yeah, well, yeah. Did you see the house that she went to go look at?
Yeah.
It was enormous.
What do you need like a 3-bedroom house for?
Like, it was just enormous. And and I was glad she actually did go to the house, because for a minute there, it looked like she was going to have the whole argument saying, I can't have her because I got to go see a house. And then she's like going to see her friend and going to go drink and have a good time.
And who's this friend? Have
her one friend that we've never
seen her once before.
Never saw her.
We saw her in the episode right before.
Yeah.
So 2 episodes, but that's it. And we don't know who she is.
Where she came from.
Yeah, and she's like 20 years older.
And I was going to say, she seems
because otherwise she just is always talking to her cousin, who also has a child. Yeah. That's like her one friend.
Next episode opens up with Gary on the phone. Hi, babe. I don't know if anybody noticed that. I'm like, who are you hi babing? And he's all, I want to invite you to my house. And she's like, okay, but here's the ground rules. And she's like, what?
Automatically on the defense,
Dude, automatically. He's like, no fighting. That's okay. That's a good ground rule. He didn't do anything bad yet.
Right. And she acknowledged it. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But she was still,
Well, until he said, and I'm not allowed to fight with you as well. And she's like, oh, okay. So you're not just putting it on me.
Blaming me.
Exactly. So she comes over. Leah's not there because they can't all be together. And he's giving a tour of the house. And, oh, my God, everything is an argument. This is Leah's room. She's like, oh, okay, it should be pink and purple with glitters. He's like, I got it. Thanks. It's all right. And I'm like, dude, there's a better way for both of them to talk. And they just don't, they're not nice.
No, they're not. No. They can't hold a conversation.
Talking about having swings or a hot tub. And he's like, there's swings right there down the street. Right there, there's swings. And she's like, whatever. Yeah. It should please my swings.
I love that big man on campus throws in, it's going to be a hot tub over there.
You're like, good luck with all the ladies. Look. Was it last episode that she had the conversation with his mom about how they need to communicate? Was that the last?
It was the episode.
I was kind of like proud of her for like sitting down with her.
Very good.
And I thought the mom did well too, because she's kind of like.
Actually, I thought the mom did bad, but I thought because
she didn't want to be in the middle of it. She said.
But because she basically.
I feel bad for the mom.
She was basically she overreacted, I think, in that situation. But you're right. Totally think Amber was super healthy communication.
That was a mature thing
amazing.
To do. Like, hey, we need to talk.
And she even said, "I'm asking you for help."
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So then so they have that whole thing and arguing about everything. Then the next thing is the Leah drop off, which was so sad.
Oh yeah, I need you.
I need you.
That was sad. She's like sad. 2 years old.
You know what's really sad is watching Amber's reaction to that, because she doesn't understand. She isn't. I mean, she's her mom, but she hasn't been her mom towards her. So when she hears this, it's like something I, as an aunt, would be like, oh, I feel really bad, and not as a mother. She just doesn't understand the difference there.
Right. She has to completely remove herself from that. Take care of her daughter's situation. Fix that, and make it okay for her to go. Tell her whatever. Tell her anything. I mean, you could have done so many things. You could have said, I'm going to talk to Gary, and then say to Gary, look, let me come back tomorrow just to see her for a couple hours. That way I can tell her, I'm going, but I'm coming back. Anything. Yeah. But good point. I didn't even think about that. You're 100% right there.
So dramatic about it.
Yeah.
She was just allowing it to affect her.
And she was so shocked too. Like, oh my gosh, my daughter needs me. Yeah, your daughter needs you. She needed you a long time ago.
And for once, she wasn't like cussing at Gary. She was cussing at CPS.
Right.
I was so
thought
relieved.
in the previews that it was because of him. She was like.
I was like, you know what? There you go. Get mad at that. Get mad at somebody who's not in the room, please.
Yeah.
So you can't get in trouble. Okay, so. Gary and Amber, then again Leah's gone, talk about the custody, and Gary to me is a sneaky something in this one. No. I think he knows. I don't believe him. He says, I'm not going to keep her from you. You can see. He said you can see her anytime you want.
I don't think when he ever keeps her from her, I don't think. When he's doing this, I don't think he's thinking that far. He really is thinking this is going to get them off of us. Now, later, when he can use it against her, I think he'll be smart enough to think about it, but not now.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I disagree. I think he totally knows if I get custody, I got the power.
If Gary can't even make a decision by himself,
I agree with you.
Like, no.
I think he knows. He knows exactly. I think he's sneaky. And the way he said it, he goes, everything's going to be okay if you just don't object. Just don't object to the custody.
He didn't say it that way.
That's exactly how he said it.
No.
Play the tape. It's exactly how he said it.
And her mom came and talked to her, remember? And freaked out on her mom.
That's the next thing. Her mom comes
Sorry,
in.
I keep jumping
No,
around.
no, you're doing great. Her mom comes in, and what? Do we know what's wrong with her?
Well, they all have drugs and alcohol, because the dad was dying off of what?
Liver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cancer
Well, the
or
mom appeared drugged. They fight. Amber gets mad super fast. Says to her mom, "You're so effing dramatic, dude." Calls her mom dude.
Yeah.
And her mom's
Everyone's dude.
Yeah.
Her mom's just looking out for her.
And they're both over. I think her mom can't really offer anything substantial.
Right.
But she at least was positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, because again, I think I can see how Amber, and I kept telling you, I can see how she ended back where she went. Because, you know, this is the girl that actually came out and thought, the people around me are going to help me and they're going to understand where I've been. Yeah. No one understands that, not even her mom.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps attacking her. So it makes so much sense now, and I can understand that's why you ended back.
Okay.
Because everybody, I mean, and the mom, they've never been there for her. Mom has never been there, and now that she's out and she's almost back on track, you're here adding more to the problems. Don't add more when she's already okay with, okay, I'm going to let him take her, I'm going to let her do this. Don't come and feed more.
She should have been supportive on that, I agree.
Yeah, we saw no support. We saw it was opposition to Amber, and that's what triggered her. So I agree 100%. And then the last thing to wrap it up is Gary picking her up from the preschool and getting a call from Amber, or he calling her whatever. And there's the water buffalo comment. And it's like, I can't understand. You sound like a water buffalo. Dude, you could have said anything else. You could.
I'm sorry,
say
Amber.
I can't
Can you
hear
say that again?
Yeah, I can't understand.
What's that?
Come on, and she's like I mean, they can't do it.
No.
They can't have a conversation about anything.
No.
Just give it up and move on. Okay. With that, we're going to go into news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay. I think all of this I got from Starcasm.net. Okay, I'm gonna paraphrase here. According Starcasm.net, by way of In Touch Weekly, Catelynn considered adopting her brother after questioning her mother's ability to be a decent parent. Now, I assume this is recent, not like, because on the show, everything looks good. She said, if my mom derails again, I will step in and adopt my brother, she told In Touch Weekly. They don't necessarily want children now, but because they're focusing on their careers, but Kate's 6-year-old brother was if Catelynn felt that the brother was in some sort of danger, she said she'd take him immediately. I know that my mom loves her children, says Catelynn, but when it comes to addict parents, sometimes they love their drug and their alcohol more than they love their children, which Butch said.
Yeah.
And don't forget, remember, I actually got fooled by the In Touch story that said that they were pregnant again on the cover?
Yeah, I did too.
And it was the mom that sold the story. It says that Catelyn's mom recently sold the story to In Touch about Catelynn being pregnant, even though she wasn't. She even called the magazine and pretended to be Catelynn.
Oh my goodness,
That's messed up.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
Money for her drugs.
And we didn't get to play it a couple weeks ago or whatever it was, but Farrah's song has, it's out there.
Oh my God, I heard about this.
You get the whole album now. But
what?
Okay, so here's what Farrah said, because everybody can't stand the song.
So she
it's like when Paris Hilton came out.
Here's what she said. There's going to be lots of criticism everywhere. Most people don't look at it as therapeutic. To me, it was therapeutic. It was also another way for me to express myself. I am an artist. I'm an entrepreneur. I love to dive in and experience new things now in a positive way. I have to say that they've only heard one song, but then they haven't heard all of the songs that go with the book. It's a book track. It's not like a Kanye West soundtrack or an album. The titles of those songs match the 10 titles in the book. And those are the most important, I would say, times in my life as a teenager. And I thought it was really cool to have the opportunity to record my book, because lots of teenagers, myself included, like music sometimes over book reading. I thought it was a great way to share other emotions through music rather than just reading.
Well, there you go.
So she's reading as her book?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, and then lastly, is it lastly? Yeah. Listen to this. Okay, so Daniel Alvarez, his last name is Alvarez.
Right.
This is his version of what
happened?
MTV didn't show. And the breakup. Daniel said, I did watch the episode and have mixed feelings about what appears to be my last appearance on the show. I'm disappointed to see that MTV jumped from a lovely dinner to me ditching her in Austin, which wasn't the case. Alvarez reveals in a new interview with E! Online. In fact, there was a whole lot more to their story that MTV failed to show. Daniel explains, The breakup happened after our dinner and after a night on the town. It began with Farrah completely degrading not only a helpless and innocent fast food drive-thru attendant, but also 2 of my closest friends. At that point, I chose to cut ties with her, and after a brief but direct argument, I sent her back to the hotel with a close friend of mine. What the heck? MTV leaves out all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Farrah already knew we were done and that I was not planning on taking the same flight back as she was. The cameras fortunately or unfortunately didn't capture our breakup, so that is why I believe it jumped from a very merry and high-spirited scene to an unpleasant one.
Well, we didn't need that story. I think we all knew.
Why? Yeah.
Yeah.
We all knew it was Farrah. It's okay, Daniel.
Yeah. You don't need to defend yourself.
Yeah, no.
Predictions?
We only have 1 episode left.
Yeah. I have updates.
Now,
instead of predictions?
Yeah,
you can do that.
Okay. So, first of all, Farrah's book has made it to the New York Times bestsellers list, so congratulations,
Get
Farrah.
out of here.
When did it
has
come out?
indeed.
On August 14th.
Yeah,
and
a
Ed
couple
was
of weeks
supposed
ago.
to buy us all a
I wanna
copy.
read
Remember,
it.
He was over here talking to Farrah. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, I didn't
She
get
should
it.
send us a copy.
It was before payday. Go ahead.
Okay. Secondly, Farrah is now doing workout videos. I don't know if this is just me searching, but she has workout videos on YouTube. The most recent is Farrah workout baby bum. So she has a video on how to get that good-looking baby bum.
Yes.
Thanks, Farrah.
Watch that.
And Maci turns 21. She turned 21, and I've read that she's coming to LA. So Maci, if you're listening, we want you here for the finale, and I'm coming to get you.
That would be amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's all.
And
Thank
Farrah,
you.
send us copies of your book, please.
No, we got to buy them. I told her I'm going to at least buy mine.
There
I'll
you
let
go.
you guys read
We'll
it.
pass it around.
We'll pass it around. Okay. For me, Ed Bowling.
Annie Demyan.
Crystal Ackley.
Is C360.
Oh, look at you. Look, we all did our names. We totally forgot our Twitter handle. You did your Twitter handle with no name. Anyway, thank you guys. We will be back. Next week is the series finale.
Oh, my gosh.
It's an hour and a half episode.
Hour and a half, okay.
And so I guess,
So Annie won't be here.
who knows?
I'll be here.
Yeah. But here's the
I
thing.
wouldn't miss it.
They always have reunions. So even though next week is the last, we
Yeah.
might have another thing after that. See you next week. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.